Michalago Road Motion Debate Breakdown. Utopia comes to the snowy Monaro Regional Council. Before we get started, I want to recommend a short clip that perfectly captures the absurdity of what's happening in our council meetings. Look up Workplace Sensitivity Training Utopia on YouTube. It's satire. But if you've been paying attention to council, you'll notice the disturbing similarities. In the video, you see two clear camps, one group focused on actually getting things done, and another obsessed with appearances, buzzwords, and creating a safe environment, even if it's anything but. Now, let's bring it back to the Monaro. That same divide is happening here. On one side, we have councillors genuinely trying to make council work effectively and transparently. On the other, we have those more concerned with the performance of propriety than solving real problems. Keep that in mind as we break this down. Today, we're unpacking what should have been a straightforward and focused council meeting about a serious environmental threat, potentially one of the most significant environmental failures our region has seen, centered on a property along Michalago Road. What followed, however, was anything but focused. Instead of addressing the issue directly, the meeting spiraled into a masterclass in deflection, delay, and misplaced priorities. Let's keep this clear. Here are 4 irrefutable takeaways from the meeting. These aren't speculation. They're drawn directly from the public record. 1. A simple, transparent, and easy-to-understand motion. Councillor Ruben Rose put forward a motion that anyone could understand. The standard? If you can't explain it to someone in the Michalago cafe over a coffee, it's not going to fly. His proposal: 1. Call in the EPA and SafeWork. 2. Reassign appropriate staff to oversee the issue. 3. Engage an independent investigator. It was lawful, it was logical, it was framed for results. And that's precisely why it was met with resistance. 2. The independents were badgered for speaking plainly. When Councillor Thaler clarified the motion, that it was about reassigning staff, not illegally appointing them, he was shut down, misrepresented, forced to apologize for something he didn't say. Instead of engaging with the content, the mayor and the gang used interruption, procedural distractions, and mischaracterization to derail the discussion. 3. The gang prioritized appearances over outcomes. Time and again, the conversation was steered away from the environmental issue and toward protecting council staff from any perceived criticism. Councillor Linda Summers even described part of the motion as a poison pill because it acknowledged possible staff failure. This was not about personal attacks. It was about system accountability. Refusing to examine internal failure in the face of a public environmental risk is not just irresponsible, it's a betrayal of public trust. 4. The delays all came from the gang. Here's what's undeniable. While the independents focused on practical action, it was the gang that dragged out the meeting. They stalled progress with procedural nitpicking, constant interruptions, and performative outrage. All of this while the region faces what may be its most serious environmental scandal. The facts show clearly who was working toward solutions and who was trying to shut the conversation down. Let's recap for clarity. 1. The motion was simple and legal. 2. The independents were interrupted for presenting facts. 3. The gang focused on protecting image instead of solving the issue. 4. The delays in the meeting came entirely from those resisting accountability. These aren't opinions, they're verifiable, recorded facts. When appearances matter more than outcomes, when fair questions are treated as attacks, and when councillors work harder to avoid scrutiny than to address crisis, that's when we need to speak up. Before we close, I want to encourage everyone listening to take the time to watch or listen to the full council debate. What follows is based on publicly available material that has been edited for brevity, because the full session ran for over 5 hours. This is my effort to document and share a pivotal moment in our region's governance. If you're serious about accountability, it's worth hearing every word spoken in that room. Share this article, spread the word, and demand change. The truth belongs to all of us, but only if we have the courage to claim it. Together, we can shine a light on the shadows of governance and bring accountability back from the brink. But remember, the next move isn't up to them. It's up to you. Because in the snowy Monaro, transparency isn't just a policy, it's the difference between light and dark.
Another which, sorry?
A report on the matter that outlined mechanisms available to council to achieve the outcome that you're suggesting.
Thank you.
With all due respect, it does seem like the bureaucracy is beating us all.
No, thank you, Councillor Elliott.
Right, Councillor.
Thank you. Councillor Rowe, you're talking against
the motion. I've got a simple test. If you can't explain a motion to someone in the Michalago cafe while you're having a coffee, then it's not going to fly. So this motion is far too complicated. What I'm going to propose is an amendment, which is the motion be scrapped and this motion be put in its place. That council immediately call in EPA and Safe Work and appoint new staff to oversee the problem. Also to appoint an appropriately qualified external investigator.
Sorry, slow down. Slow down. Sorry.
That council immediately call in the EPA and Safe Work and appoint new staff to oversee the problem.
Slower. Sorry, Councillor. Investigation.
This is, you can change this, but I think, Mr. Mayor, just let me tell you my intention here. The issue is this has got too complex, and as Councillor Elliott said, there's nothing immediate happening. I'm waiting to call in the EPA and Safe Work. I'm going to get new staff. The best way of predicting future behaviour is past behaviour. Nothing has occurred because the wrong staff are on this. And then also we need an appropriately qualified external investigator.
Point of order, I don't think that is appropriate to say about our staff and make a statement that nothing has been done. I think that's misleading. I don't know. I'm sure it's not intentional.
Yeah, I don't think it's intention to actually make wrongdoing.
Definitely not. But it's my point is, if you've got the same people doing the same job, get the same outcome. Councillor, this is a really serious issue. So I've got a simple motion here, Mr. Mayor.
I understand that. I just want to, just before you continue on, you cannot direct staff in that, so you can't ask for new staff to look over this. That's not your role.
It's definitely our role. Direct.
It says appoint staff. You cannot appoint staff.
That's not appointing staff.
That's what you said.
You said
appoint new staff.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't do that.
You need to direct others to put the staff who are involved aside.
Sorry, councillor. Councillors cannot appoint staff.
Okay. So change it to a different staff member.
It's the council immediately call the EPA and Safe Work and appoint new staff. That's the council.
You can't do that.
Council can't appoint staff.
No. We're to direct and control the affairs of council.
You can direct me.
We're directing.
You can direct the CEO.
Okay, and direct the CEO.
I'm going to raise a point of order. The badgering from the executive table is frustrating, Mr. Rose. If we want to analyse the word appoint new staff, it could be within our existing staff pool. This staff member has a question mark over their ability. Let's get a different staff member. We're not appointing new staff. We are getting a different staff member to do the job.
Sorry, Councillor Taylor. Councillor Taylor. Councillor Rose said appoint staff.
Yes.
He cannot do that. He can direct the CEO to appoint a new staff member. That is what I was saying, and that is what now he has changed.
Direct the CEO to appoint.
How about you let me do what I'm doing and he can actually continue on?
To direct the CEO to appoint.
Point of order. The Mayor does not have the right to badger me from the chair.
I am not badgering you.
I rose to speak against your rulement and your antagonism. You don't need to be rude.
Councillor Thaler, I was explaining that your point of order was incorrect and that I was right. So Councillor Rose, continue.
We have an act of disorder against Councillor Thaler.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Continually and consistently disrupts this meeting.
Is this a point of order? What's going on?
Yes, it is.
Act of disorder.
Act of disorder.
And he is bringing this council into disrepute by actually claiming staff are not doing their job. Not his role to do so. It's an act of disorder.
Councillor Thaler, I'll ask you. You can do a point of order. D. So, Councillor Thaler, I do ask you that the remarks you've made are unlawful, and I ask you to apologise for those remarks. Unfavourable persons' remarks about or in pod that you're talking about council officers that they cannot do their job.
I did not say that.
You did. You said there was a question mark and they can't do their job and you move over to here. So I asked you not to say that.
I was explaining Councillor Reuben Rose's position. He wasn't seeking that we appoint new staff, as in retask, redirect, set aside. That's what I was.
You said the person's not doing their job.
I said if there was a question mark over a council
Not doing their job.
not doing their job, you would get
Yes.
a different.
And you
council
can't say
person.
that.
That is, I can. That's not a.
No, you
It's
can't.
not an act of disorder.
It is.
It is.
I asked you to apologise and retract it, Councillor
Well,
Taylor.
who would I make the remark against? Please clarify.
You made it against staff. Full stop.
I said if a staff member, if a
Councillor
staff
Taylor,
member
just please
has a question,
Apologise and
I
we'll
will
move on.
apologise to a staff member.
Thank you. That's all I wanted. Councillor Rose, you can continue on.
So, Mr. Mayor, I'll try again. So a council immediately call in the EPA and Safe Work and direct the CEO to appoint new staff to oversee the problem. Appoint new staff to oversee the problem. Also, to appoint an appropriately qualified external investigator to determine how the placement of unapproved material has occurred and why the council has failed. There's obviously an impediment here, and so this is a very simple story to try and say there needs to be immediate action.
Sorry.
Then
Sorry, you have to, you're talking a bit too quick.
Okay.
So to appoint the second part of your motion,
to appoint an appropriately qualified external investigator to determine how the placement of unapproved material has occurred.
What did you aim for?
please, public.
Of unapproved material has occurred and why the council has failed to take action.
We haven't failed to take action.
I disagree that we failed to take action.
Mr. Mayor, we heard that I've heard that from a dozen letters. I heard it from the material.
Yeah,
There's clearly an impediment here. So
Councillor Williamson, are you happy to accept the?
Councillors, yeah, we've been going around the bush everywhere, but you've got to come back to the source of the problem. We approved this development without coming to council. It's not an EPA matter.
Exactly.
It's a council matter. We've got to find out why this development was approved with no conditions, what I can gather on it, and get to the source of it. You can't just keep going out blaming everybody else when EPA didn't approve it. Safe Works never approved it. It was approved by our council planning people, which never even come. And I've been here ever since this council started, this amalgamated council started. And how come when you get you would think a development like that, when they're going to change and a lot of extra traffic and that to whatever to fill them, why wasn't a report coming to the council of the day to assess it and to go out to the community to see whether it's appropriate or not?
Exactly.
And so we're beating around the bush instead of trying to get on and saying, well, we've made the mistake. Our organisation's made the mistake. We fix it. Don't blame everybody else.
look, I'm just trying to get back to simplicity, and I like Councillor Stewart's story. We've got to get back to the root cause, and so I just wondered if another type of motion might be like a simple motion, Bob, which was Councillor admits that has stuffed up the DA approval on Michalago Road. Point B.
Point of order. That is actually not what happened.
Point of order.
I think we need to base what we're doing on truth.
Community.
I guess there's no point of order.
No.
We're just in committee.
We are in committee, but you're actually saying wrongdoing of our staff.
No.
And yes, you just said that.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No,
You did.
I said council council stuffed up the story on Michalago Road.
Yes, that is wrongdoing of the
So,
council.
no.
He actually said that they had
Point
made a
B.
mistake. It was allowable under the LEP. I'm sorry, I will not allow untruths to
Those
be
staff
told
aren't
in this
even here
room.
anymore to even defend themselves.
No, that's
Sorry.
I'm just proposing an idea for.
So, yeah, council.
So
Then propose it without the lies.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a strange.
Councillors.
Yeah, wait a minute, Mr. Mayor. This is what we heard.
Councillors, we're in a committee of a whole.
Yes,
Please stick to it and stop saying that staff did something wrong.
I didn't.
You did.
Council.
You said same thing. Council, you are saying council, that is the
So
staff.
just put that to the side.
Put that to the side.
Second part of the.
Put it to the side.
Is council will do everything required to get a solution by the 30th of June. So we don't got any, there's no detail to do, all we can read.
Has a question.
Linda, sorry.
I just wanted to make a note that I do not like Part E. It is a poison pill for me. If you'd like a unanimous result, it would be removed. I do not like any reflections like that on staff whatsoever.
Thank you. All those in favour to come out of whole of committee? Hands up, out of committee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, colleagues, for participating in the committee session. I think whilst it's long, it certainly is comprehensive. I don't need to recap many of the points because they're all fresh in our mind. I would simply reiterate the harm this is doing, the situation is doing to a lovely community on Michalago Road. And I therefore will commend the motion to you. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I put the motion. All those in favour of the recommendation that is on the board. Councillor Stewart, Councillor Williamson, Councillor Rose, Councillor Elliott, Councillor Rooney, Councillor Hopkins, Councillor Thaler, Councillor Davis, Councillor Higgins and Councillor Hannah. All those against? Councillor Summers. The motion has been carried.